Hello and welcome to Lesson 10, which is GEMDAS in the Boot Camp Math Review Workshop. So if you want a workbook, at the end of the video I will show you the workbook and where you can get it. But otherwise, if you just want to follow along, come on in. Alright, Lesson 10 is about GEMDAS, which is the order of operations, and a lot of you have probably heard this called PEMDAS. Well, lately we have decided in the math community to go with GEM. Why? Because PEMDAS, the P stood for parentheses, but what it actually meant was grouping symbols. And there are other grouping symbols. You can have parentheses, you can have brackets, you can have braces, you can have a fraction bar. A fraction bar groups the stuff on top and the stuff on bottom. So you would want to do all the top and then all the bottom and then divide. So PEMDAS, the parenthesis part, was a little bit misleading. Alright, so now we're just going to call it GEMDAS for grouping. Alright, the E stands for exponent. Now, MD, this is where most people make mistakes. MD, the step says, the technical definition of this step says multiplication or division as you come to it from left to right. So many people want to go through a problem and they just want to do all the multiplication and then come back and do all the division, and that is not right. The order of operations was developed to make sure that everybody gets the same answer for the same problem. That's the whole goal in mathematics. If you have somebody from the other side of the world sending your doctor a formula for the medicine you need to save your life, you want to be sure that he gets the answer that the sender meant. So that's why they created, in about 1910, the order of operations. So it's not so much that it's right or wrong, it's just that this is the way we're going to do it. And the way we're going to do it is do all the multiplication or division. So you start down here and you can do divide, divide, multiply, whatever you come to from left to right. Okay? Now, the addition subtraction step is the same way. You don't go through there and do all the addition. You start at the left and you work your way and you add, subtract all the way down. Okay? It's a lot easier to understand with some examples, so let me erase the board and we'll get to some. Okay, so let's go through this one step at a time. 90 minus 30 divided by 2 times 5 plus 3. There are no grouping symbols and there are no exponents. So I am down here on the multiplication division. I'm going to start here and I'm going to multiply or divide as I come to it from left to right. Let me get another color. Alright, so minus I'm not doing. Here's 30 divided by 2. 30 divided by 2 is 15. Now my next thing is a multiplication, so I can go ahead and do it as well. What is 15 times 5? Well, 5 times 5 is 25, so that's 75. So now what I have is 90 minus 75 plus 3. I'm ready to go to my AS step, so I'm going to start back. I'm going to go back to the front. 90 minus 75, what is that? 15 plus 3, and 15 plus 3 is 18. So that's your correct answer. Okay, so let's look at example number 2 now. The first thing you notice is that you have parentheses and brackets. Now there's no difference between parentheses and brackets. They're both equal grouping symbols. The only reason we have two different ones is because it's a little bit easier to see what's grouped if you alternate the symbols. Like if you do parentheses, brackets, it's just a little bit easier to visually lock in. So that's it. No, neither one is more important than the other. Okay, so what we want to do is go to the inside first and work our way out. Alright, first I see inside is 17 minus 11, which is 6. And then 6 squared is 36. So I'm going to get that much done. Alright, now here, like I told you, a fraction bar is actually a grouping symbol. So we can do what's on top first. 15 minus 5 is 10. Then I can combine the two. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Alright, this symbol comes down. Okay? So now I'm still in the grouping part. I did what was in the group. Now let me go ahead and combine. What is 36 times 5. Oops. So 5 times 6 is 30. Carry your 3. That's going to be 180. And now all you have left to do is multiply. 2 times 180 is 360. So go slowly. So many times I see students, y'all want to look at the problem and you just want to, you know, solve it all in one go. Well, you can't do that. And that's why you have these steps. You can only work with 2 numbers at a time. At least I can. I don't know about you. I can only do 2 numbers at a time. This tells you how to pick which 2 to work with. All right? And then by the time you get to the bottom, you'll be left with 1 number. Okay, so example 3, we're going to go to the grouping symbol first. And 6 divided by 2 will give us 3. Now, what you actually have is 18 divided by 3 times 3. In this circumstance, remember, multiplication and division, you do them as you come to them from left to right. What I always see people do when I put this problem on a quiz or whatever, because these 2 are closer together, they want to jump over here and multiply these, and that's not what you do. What this actually is looks like this. Now see, just the visual of having that X in there to put some distance between those lets you realize you're still starting at the left and you do multiplication or division as you come to it from left to right. So 18 divided by 3 is 6, and 6 times 3 is 18. Now, I do want to warn you about one thing, and this is at the bottom of your page. I want you to understand for now and forever when doing GEMDAS, when you do the exponent part, this is not equal to x squared plus 25. You don't just give it to each one. What this actually is x plus 5 times x plus 5. And then you would have to use that FOIL method that we've talked about before and we will talk about again. But I just want you to understand, this is not the same as that. Okay? All right, let's get some example problems from your worksheet. What I'd really like for you to do is you go ahead and work those. I think there's 12 problems on the practice page. You go ahead and work them, check your answers, and then you can come back and find the ones that you missed, and I'll work through it, because you learn so much more when you make a mistake and you fix your own mistake. Okay, so you go ahead and try to work all those on your own and see how many you get right. Okay, and I'll see you back here. Okay, let's have a look at the example problems now. And there are many ways to work these, so don't think that I'm the only way. I'm just going to work it slowly, step by step, and tell you how I'm going through GEMDAS. But there are, you know, other routes, so if you did it another way and you got the right answer, as long as you can justify it, you can't just wing it, you got to be able to justify it. Okay. So I'm going to go to my grouping symbols first, and 8 times 20 is 160. Now I'm going to back up, and I don't usually rewrite it at this point, but I want you to be able to see it. Now that was the first step, that was G. There are no exponents, so now I'm at multiplication division. I'm going to come back here to my left and I'm going to march my way through this problem, and I'm going to do any multiplication or division as I come to it. So I'm not adding. 160 divided by 10, what is that? 16. And then 16 divided by 2, what is that? That's 8. Okay? So now 5 plus 8 is 13. Okay, let's look at number 2. I'm going to go into my grouping symbol first. Now within your grouping symbol, you still go through GEMDAS. Okay, so my next thing, you know, inside here is exponents. All right, 3 squared is 9. So now what I have in here is 90 divided by 9 times 5. You're still going to go through your steps. All right, I'm inside the parentheses, so that's my grouping. I just did my exponent. Now I'm going to do multiplication or division as I come to it from left to right. I'm going to say that so many times that you're going to hear it, every time you start to do a simplification problem. 90 divided by 9 is 10, and 10 times 5 is 50. So what I actually have here now is 8 plus 50 times 6. All right, so let's look at our problem. Now we're going back, we're still at multiplication division because we still have some multiplication. So we're going to skip over here. What is 50 times 6? Well, that's 300. So you have 8 plus 300, which is 308. Okay, let's look at number 3. Now I know that looks like a big horrible thing, and I just noticed that in the workbook there's a printout error. It like printed this line up here, and the same thing with the 2. I'm going to go back and try to fix that, but my typing skills are sometimes not up to my mathematical skills. Okay, but this is what it should look like. So now we are going to go to the inside of the inner grouping symbol first. And that's right here. In fact, I'm going to focus on my top part first. So inside here, 2 squared is 4. And 12 plus 4 is 16. Okay? Now I'm still inside these brackets. So let's go ahead and do 3 times 16. 3 times 6 is 18. Carry my 1. So that's 48. So what I have at this point is 4 to the 3rd minus 48 on the top. And when I'm doing top and bottom, sometimes I just like to go all the way across the top, you know, get all of that simplified. What is 4 to the 3rd power? Well, 4 times 4 is 16, and 16 times 4 is 64. So I have 64 minus 48. If you do 64 minus 48, you've got to carry 1, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, that's 16. All right, so now our new top number is 16. That's what we got when we simplified everything. So let's come down here and do the bottom. There are, the grouping symbol, I know you see the parentheses, but it's not, parentheses have 2 functions. They can group or they can separate and show multiplication. Since there's nothing in here to do, this is a multiplication parenthesis. So I have no grouping symbol. I have no exponents. I'm at multiplication division. Well, here's your multiplication. So what is 5 times 4? That's 20. So now what I have is 6 plus 20 minus 15. Now since they're all added and subtracted, it honestly doesn't matter which you do first, but I'm going to start at the left and go to the right. 6 plus 20 is 26. So now I have 26 minus 15, which is 11. And that won't simplify down. It is improper. So if you want to change it to a mixed number, you could say, okay, 11 will go into 16 one time, and then 16 minus that 11 is 5 over 11. So either one of those would be the correct answer. Okay, let's look at number 4. We are going to find our grouping symbols here and here, and we're going to go to the innermost set first. So 4 plus 3 is 7. Now within this set, I'm going down order. So I don't have any grouping symbols within the set. I took care of that. I don't have any exponents, so I am going to do multiplication division first. All right, I have 5 times 7 plus 2. So 5 times 7 is 35, and 35 plus 2 is 37. So what I have now is 4 times 37. All right, what is 4 times 37? Well, if you're on the section where you can't use a calculator, you're going to have to multiply it. 7 times 4 is 28, carry my 2, and 4 times 3 is 12, 13, 14. So that's 148. All right, let's go to number 5. We're going to go to the grouping symbol first. 8 minus 5 is 3. Now we're going to take care of exponents. All right, 2 to the third power. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, plus, here I've got 3 to the second power, which is 9, minus 3. 8 plus 9 is 17, and 17 minus 3 is 14. Okay, let's look at number 6. Go to the parentheses first. 1 plus 2 is 3. Now what you have is 6 divided by 2 times 3. And remember, I told you this is where most of my students mess up, because they want to come over here and do this multiplication first. No. Now that you've done the grouping, you've got to come all the way back to the beginning, and you've got to march your way from left to right doing multiplication or division as you come to it. So 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 3 times 3 is 9. So did that one mess anybody up? Let me know in the comments if that messed you up, and learn from your mistake. All right, this one, there are no grouping symbols and there are no exponents, so we're just going to start at the left, and we're going to do multiplication, division, and then we're going to come back and we're going to do addition, subtraction. So 10 plus 2, I'm skipping that. 2 times 2 is 4. So what you have now is 10 plus 4 minus 1. All right, 10 plus 4 is 14, and 14 minus 1 is 13. Okay, for number 8, let's go inside the brackets, and then we're going to do the grouping symbols that are inside there first. So 14 minus 5 is 9, and 17 minus 14 is 3. All right, and I'm going to come under here and I'm going to clean this up some. Now, that'll make it easier for you to see what I'm dealing with. Okay. So here's what we have, 20 plus 3. I brought down the 9 divided by 3 times 3. So we're still inside this set of grouping symbols. Now remember, this set of parentheses just shows multiplication now. It's not actually grouping. So we're going to come to the left. Remember, this is what I keep telling you. Everybody wants to jump over here and multiply these first, and that's not how you do this. You've got to come all the way to the left, and if you come to division first, you have to do division first. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. And 3 times 3 is 9. So now what you have is this. All right? And a lot of times people at this point, they'll want to add the 20 and the 3 first. No, you still have multiplication to do. So we're going to do 3 times 9, which is 27. So 20 plus 27 is 47. You know, if you have problems on these, you can always go back and rework the problem. You don't usually remember the answer, but you know, and if you need some extra practice problems, drop me a comment down below and I'll see what I can do. Okay, let's look at these last couple of problems. Number 9, 48 divided by 3 times 3 plus 1. So let's go up here, groupers first. So we're going to go to the parentheses, 3 plus 1 is 4. All right, once again, I'm trying to see if I can trick you on this. All right, I've got division first, so I have to do that first. 48 divided by 3 is what? If you don't know, you can do 48, 3 into 48 once. That'll be 3, subtract. Remember your skills from like lesson 2, I think. And then 3 will go into 18 16 times. So 48 divided by 3 is 16. And then 16 times 4 is, 6 times 4 is 24. 64. But do the division first before you do the multiplication. All right, let's come down here to number 10, our last one. 8 divided by 4 is 2. So now what you have is 24 divided by 4 times 2. And once again, I'm tempting you to come over here and do this multiplication first when you know that's not what you're supposed to do. 24 divided by 4 is to the left, so that's going to be 6 times 2, which is 12. Okay, so I hope you did well. I hope you learned something, and as promised, I said at the end I would show the workbook to anybody that doesn't already have the workbook. This is a workbook with 15 lessons in it. It's more of a refresher of basic math skills. This is stuff you had in, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th grade, early on. And if you are an adult learner, if you're trying to go back and get your GED or work on your ASVAB, this is just stuff you forget. Hey, you haven't done it. If you haven't done it in 5 years, you forgot how to do all this stuff. You just need a refresher. So there are 15 lessons in the workbook. There's also a QR code right here that will bring you right back to this playlist. I go through every lesson. As you can see, there are lecture notes for each lesson, and then there is a worksheet, a practice sheet over each thing, and then there are the answers along with it for 15 different lessons. And guys, it starts off with reviewing your multiplication table. So this will take you from 0 to 10 in no time. It's just a refresher. You can find this on Etsy. If you go to Etsy and you search BCM7125, there's an option for a printed workbook that I'll mail out to you, and then there's an option for a PDF that you can download. You can also go to Teachers, Pay Teachers, and search the same thing, and you can get the downloadable copy. And if you don't care either way which one you go to, Teachers Pay Teachers, I get a little bit more money when you buy one than if you buy it from Etsy. They keep a bigger part of it. So let me know any tips that you have. I don't really need any criticism. I get plenty of that from my class. Any comments, any extra help you need, okay? And I will talk to y'all in lesson 11.